Has this started recording? Oh, there we go. Started recording now. Hi, and welcome to another Drunken Rambles. This one isn't so much on the drunk side, because I'm actually sober for this. But it's a Saturday night, most people are drunk anyway, so watch it while you're drunk, it'll just be the same thing. The reason that I'm doing this is because there's basically been loads in the news that I want to talk about, and usually on a Saturday night I would be having a drink and usually just rambling on about this stuff to myself. So tonight, and I suppose this would actually go quite well with vodka because we all know vodka's my favourite drink. Fanta, is that the right way around? Yeah, vodka, I wish. Fanta, mango and passion fruit, and I've got to say that is an incredibly nice drink. Also, I've been getting quite a few comments recently. If people are watching these videos and wondering, is there a constant noise in the background? Yes, there is, and I know what is the cause of it. Let me show it to you. If you have a look over that side of the room, you see that little thing lit up there? It's a little kind of vending machine type thing, and that is what is creating the noise that you hear. And yeah, so I don't always have it on, but when I do, I appreciate it. So what have I been up to recently? I've been up to not that much. Kind of just working on some projects, like either on YouTube or away from YouTube. For those of you that watch, I also do the BevRants videos. And recently, the kind of stuff that we've been working on has just been mentally and physically challenging in every sense. Like, I really cannot give too much away, but there is a really good thing that we've been working on that hasn't even gone public yet and has a lot of views. So you can just tell me and the people that have seen it, we love this project. And then there's a little one after that we've worked on, which is the second to last video that we are ever doing as BevRants on YouTube. And that has been an enormous project. There is a whole behind the scenes kind of thing filmed for that, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. You can just watch the video when it comes out. But it's just an incredible amount of work that I've been doing recently, and kind of when you're watching it, it's not that much to show, but it's a lot of work, so appreciate it. One of the other things that I've been working on away from YouTube and all that kind of stuff, for the people that are regular watchers, you'll know that I do the like live gigs, like weddings and kids parties and all that kind of stuff. And for the past couple of months now, what I've been wanting to do is kind of downsize the system that I carry around with me. And without getting too technical about it, there is a lot of reasons as to why I want to downsize. It's mainly because of the weight of the equipment. Like, it's just not mobile anymore. Like, it's too heavy. There is lightweight versions of equipment out there that I will be getting in future, but it's a case of kind of like the setup that I've got now, bringing that off the road, working on it, but having a separate system that I can still work with while I'm working on the main system. So yeah, that's a lot of fun to work at the moment. Very expensive as well. It's not that good. Okay, so on to this video. What have I been up to recently? I haven't just told you. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I stood on a shard of glass, which was great, barefoot. So that's been painful and great. Not the most wise thing. I wouldn't advise it to people, if I'm honest with you. But basically, I've got a pair of shoes that I love to wear at the moment. And they have a habit of literally bringing the outdoors in, and I think somewhere probably around this building I've stood on a bit of glass and it's come in and it's kind of fallen off the shoe in the bedroom and I've not realised it. And then yesterday in the morning I got up with the thing of, right, I'll go to the toilet, come back in the bedroom, get dressed, get on with the day. Walking out of the bedroom to the bathroom and stood on the shard of glass. So it kind of knackered up my whole day. So I've kind of had to do like 2 days worth of stuff in one day today. Plus I had visitors earlier as well, so that was a load of fun. So yeah, that's been great. And then I just thought, you know what, I've not done a Drunken Rambles video in the past hour, so let's do another one. Is this number 6? Is it? I can't remember what it is. I think it's number 6, and I really cannot be bothered looking. Like I said, there is a lot for us to go through in this video. There's just been loads happening recently, and I do want to just get my voice out there, because you know what I'm like, I can't remain silent on these kind of things. Oh, little update. I did the video the other day on this channel, which was about the teenager in Blackpool who claimed that he was the victim of a homophobic attack and blah blah blah, you know, that kind of stuff. Watched the video. I put the video out literally within a couple of hours of the video coming out. He released a statement on his Facebook to say that he was drunk at the time that this happened, so he doesn't remember exactly what happened. Strange that he still jumped to it being a homophobic attack. And then in the statement, he claims that he thinks it was more than just him falling over, but it probably could just be that. Basically kind of admitting it was a fake. But that's what these people do. Welcome to the internet these days. People want their 15 minutes of fame. I'd love 15 minutes of fame, but I'm not going to create some bullshit just so as I can get that, because I would hate me for doing that, and I know that others would hate me for doing that. I kind of want to be like a respectable figure online. It's not happening, is it? Okay, so things that we can talk about in this video. As usual with these videos, it's not edited, and it is a case of just going through the news, picking out the news stories, and just me ranting on about them, because that's what I do best. BevRants. So the latest news, as we've probably all heard by now, is that this missing jet was deliberately diverted. Can I just say, I call bullshit on a lot of what is going on with this whole thing at the moment. I really, really call bullshit on it. Like, genuinely do. The reason that I call bullshit on it is because there's so much to this, and it's just so hard to get it out. Okay, so flight goes out over sea, and they say at that point that it's out over sea, the something system was deactivated, and that is the last point that they know that aeroplane was there. At that point, it has literally gone off radar. They've not been able to track where exactly it's gone to or what has actually happened to it. One of the things that they are saying now, that we are like, just over a week later on this, they're saying that this plane could have flown back over land, or, you know, it could have gone further out to sea. It went off course. Well, how do you know it went off course if the kind of communication system was cut off? Like, how do you know about this? The other thing with that is, most land these days is kind of covered by air traffic control. Like, they can see what's flying near the airport and everything like that. Are we sure that nothing could have shown up on radar to say what happened to this flight? Is there nothing there? You know, I'm kind of thinking it didn't fly over land. The reason that I'm so adamant about this whole case is because I watched a documentary the other day which is called Seconds to or Seconds from Disaster. I think it's Seconds from Disaster. There's loads of it on YouTube. If you search on YouTube, not while this video is on, you don't do that. If you do a search for Seconds from Disaster cockpit fire, if you search for that, you will come across this episode in this whole series, and I think it's about a 46-minute video. And they explain to you about this plane that had taken off from somewhere. It was going out over the east coast of Canada, over was it over Boston at that point? I think it was over Boston when it reported that it needed to make an emergency landing because there was smoke on board. It got diverted to Halifax airport, and there was this whole thing that happened. It never made it to the airport. What happened was the pilots got through to air traffic control and literally just said, "We're fucked." Not in as many words as that, obviously. It was more just something else. They flew out over to sea. The last thing that air traffic control heard was that there was a major incident on board, and that was it. These people in air traffic control at that point literally had to watch as the plane went out over to sea and dropped off the radar. There was no way that they could communicate with the plane, and for all intents and purposes, it had vanished. Within a couple of hours, they managed to find sort of bits of the plane that were kind of floating around. From my knowledge of it, there was never any bodies found. 239 people were killed on that flight. It was horrendous. That documentary itself goes on to explain what the cause of it was, and what has happened in the aviation industry since then, and all that kind of stuff. And it is really interesting. But the moral of that is, this plane that's gone missing now is not the first one to literally just vanish off radar. The fact that it's done it overseas kind of just signals to me the plane has had a fault, and it's dropped out the sky. Like, it's gone. A lot of people say about the wreckage of the plane, why hasn't anything been seen or been found? Listen, these planes travel at enormous speeds, and if you're going to fire something that fast into water, the likelihood of it is, if this plane has literally nosedived into the water, it's going to go straight under the water. You're not going to find too much stuff floating around. It'll have probably gone down by this point. You may well recover some stuff in the future, but what I would like to see being done, and I'm not too sure if this is being done because I've not heard anything about it, but I would like to see, something like a submarine going and scanning the bottom of the ocean or something like that, because you see these boats that go over the Titanic, where that is in the sea, and they put these things down, and it basically scans the seabed, to see what is around there, all that kind of stuff. Why aren't we doing this? Well, not only now, but why weren't we doing this sooner? The technology is there. Let's fucking use it. There is a thing at the moment saying that this is a government cover-up, that they know what has happened to this plane and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe that. I genuinely don't believe it. These planes that fly these days, all of them have moving parts. Name me one thing with moving parts that has ever lasted forever. Like even the wheel, a wheel has to be replaced, Everything with moving parts, at one point or another, it has a shelf life. Maybe this plane has, lived its own life. Maybe it's the plane's time to go off radar. Families are helpless and frustrated. They would be. They genuinely would be. And I know that some of them, if they were able to watch this and understand what I was saying and how I was saying it, they would be incredibly upset by it. But you know what? There does come to a certain point where you've kind of just got to go, they're not coming back. But anyway, so there is loads of stuff to go with this missing plane. I don't buy that this is terrorists that have done it. I genuinely don't believe that terrorists have hijacked this plane and gone off with it, because somewhere at some point this plane would have turned up if it had been terrorists. Even if it crashed into a building, plane allocated for, it's in that building. Like, there we go. So yeah, I don't buy that it was terrorists. Do I think that we will ever know what has happened to this plane? Unlikely, but we could do. If we can recover the black box, or black boxes, from this plane, it gives us kind of a better indication as to what has actually happened. If you're wondering what a black box actually records, your typical black box would record everything that is said through the pilots, because they have to basically wear a headset like this at all times. Everything that gets said, even if it isn't to the passengers or air traffic control, these microphones are always recording it straight into the black box. So we could get like a kind of vocal thing as to what has happened. Now presumably, after these certain controls have been turned off, you would still be able to hear what the pilots are saying. So it would give us an indication as to, okay, why were them things, why was the location tracking, whatever it is, why was that turned off? Was it part of a shutdown procedure? It could well have been mechanical failure. We just don't know. So what's more annoying for me is watching all these news programs at the moment, and they're saying, well, this has definitely happened, and this has definitely happened. And it's like, hang on. Hold the fuck up. Let's find this plane first. Before we go on, it was terrorists, it was the pilots, it was the passengers, it was whatever. Before we do any of that, let's fucking find it first. Let's focus all of our energy on the search. Okay, then, when we've found it, let's recover these black boxes, if possible. Let's get the data off them, let's hear what the pilots were saying, and let's try and figure out what happened. If there is any wreckage that is left, let's bring it up, let's have a look at it. You know, let's investigate this stuff first, before turning around and saying it's a government conspiracy, it was the pilots on a suicide mission. These crazy things that are coming out, and people are buying it up, and it's like, hang on, that might not be true. So let's just hold off a little bit here and, you know, see where we are in the future. Case in hand with that is the oh god, what's the name of it? It was is it Norway or something? It was something Flight 111. Oh shit, it was in that documentary. I can't think of it, but it's the one that's in the Seconds from Disaster. In that episode, no, I give up on trying to remember that. But that plane came down, and they started getting the wreckage out, and they recovered the black boxes and everything like that. What the investigators actually did was they put together kind of an actual life-size model of the plane using the bits that they'd recovered. I think was it something like there was over 2 million pieces of this plane recovered, and I think they only reconstructed the front part of the plane. Now, what they managed to find is that it was basically an electrical problem. It was sort of dodgy wiring, if you want to call it that, that's triggered it. That spark triggered such and such thing to ignite, and then, you know, that documentary does explain how this whole thing happened. But all the time that these people are investigating it, and bear in mind, investigations can take years to complete before we know this is what happened. But all of this time, and the news agencies were putting out saying, well, we think it was the pilots that did this, and, you know, they were on a suicide mission. We think it could have been terrorists, and blah blah blah. And it's like, hang on, why are we doing this? Should we not just let the investigators get on with it and find out what has happened? So, my final thing to say about this whole plane thing is we need to keep looking for it. Like, completely keep looking for it. As much as we can keep looking into the story that there was fake passports used, I mean, yeah, that is a bit of a dodgy thing, but you look into the statistics that these governments have, fake passports get used every single hour of every single day. You know, somewhere in the world right now, someone is travelling on a plane using a fake passport. Are you alarmed by it? No, you're not, because you don't know that it's happened. So just because it's happened on this plane isn't necessarily to say it's a terrorist strike that this has happened. Look, so we already know we've got an issue that we need to deal with here. If people are going to travel around on these fake passports, deal with it. So lessons are already being learned about that. We need to keep looking for it with the passports. We also need to kind of, I think more of the West and other countries should be getting involved in this and saying, well, this is what technology we've got. You know, do you want it shipping over? We'll bring it over. We will join you in this search. Let's get the fucking thing found. So, I think the main thing about that all is that we need to stop just allowing our news agents or news agencies, whatever you want to call them. I think we need to stop them from kind of putting this bullshit out there. Like, if we hear a thing saying, well, such and such thing happened, and this is why that happened, you know, and that plus that equals a bomb, whatever it is, don't fucking listen to it. You know, let's just do what I said. Find it, investigate, there's your outcome. There we go. So there, yeah. Okay, next thing to discuss. I sounded quite posh then. Why did I sound quite posh? I genuinely have no idea. Right, okay. Let me just... Right, okay. Russia and Crimea and the Ukraine. Oh my god, my head aches from this news. Jesus Christ. Right. I think, if I remember rightly, sorry, the dog is chewing on his bone thing. If I remember rightly, I have done a video about this on here. I can't remember if I did or if I didn't. There might be one, I don't know. Right, so what we know up to now is that there's been uprisings because the government in the Ukraine wanted to kind of side with Russian law. Pardon me, these uprisings happen to say, we don't want Russian law in this country and you will hear our voices and we want the government to step down and blah blah blah. Your typical kind of modern day uprising, right? Then Russia has been like, no, we are having, Crimea and we're moving our stuff in right now. So they have basically moved in tanks. The army is there. I'm sorry, Russia, you can turn around and say, well, we haven't got people there, whatever it is. We've seen it. We fucking know you've got army people there, whether they're in the uniform or whether they're not. We know they're there. We are onto your game. Yes, I have done a video about this. I think. Fuck it. So yeah, really, and this is me sober, and I'm trying to remember this shit, right? Okay, so yeah. The latest thing on it is to say that Crimea is going to vote and blah blah blah. Can we all predict the outcome? Yes, I think we can, because kind of the people there are being told, well, you either vote Russia or you vote for Russia, or you can leave. And this is a problem, like a genuine problem that we need to kind of act upon a little bit quick. Look, I'm not going to say the first thing that we need to do is to jump straight to war, because don't agree with it. We have had the strong words with Russia. The UK Prime Minister David Cameron, President Obama, is it John Kerry, someone Kerry, in the Kerry clan, Kerry clan, KKK, no, other places around the world, they've all been saying to Russia, listen, back the fuck off and let's deal with this like men. Russia is kind of a bit like, well, we're just, and so we're going in and we're taking it. Something in the news earlier on today said that basically Russia taking Crimea is kind of similar to the United Kingdom and how we fought for the Falkland Islands. And of course, if you look back, Margaret Thatcher said that the United Kingdom taking the Falkland Islands was similar to America taking Hawaii, or there was something. Yeah, so, land, great. Listen, if this was going to be a genuine public vote, I would fully support it. I'd be like, do you know what? Yeah, let's throw the gates open. Let's see what you vote for. Thing is, you've got Russia's army over there, you've got these gangs, you've got fucking everything, and it's just pointing towards you vote for Russia all time. And that isn't fair. If you want a fair vote, you leave it to the people to vote and voice their opinions. It's not being left open to them. So yeah, so we've had the strong words. One of the things that they're talking about is sanctioning Russia. The thing is, when it comes to sanctioning Russia, yes, Russia is turning around and saying, well, kind of, it works both ways. And yeah, it does. But to be honest with you, not too much of what I eat or drink is really too much from Russia. I mean, yes, okay, I have got a bottle of Russian standard vodka in my fridge at the moment, but that could be produced anywhere, really. So, yeah, vodka is still going to be there, so Drunken Rambles will continue. What train of thought was I on then? Sorry, I got off at a station and I think fucked. Signals dropped. Right, yes, so sanctions, yes, sanctions work both ways, and I don't think it would affect us too much. One of the things was about the G8, because Russia is kind of involved in the G8, and you know what, I don't really see the point in the G8, really. I genuinely think if like if the United Kingdom wanted to do more business with Russia, we've got telephones and we've got the internet. Let's send an email. We don't really need the G8 for that. America wants to do business with the UK. Phones, emails, faxes, texts. Again, no G8. So yeah, I don't really see the point in the G8 anyway. Other sanctions that we could put on Russia, obviously, we could stop doing business with them, we could stop the trade, which, yes, would affect businesses and all that kind of stuff, but if it could stop this whole thing going to war, then fucking go for it. And then, of course, the other thing after sanctions is, well, we know it's war. I don't really want war because it just means that there is going to be fucking loads of lives lost that don't have to be lost if Russia would just back the fuck off. But yeah, if we have to go to war, then I can only hope that it's over quickly, that not many people are killed, and that it basically puts Russia into its place when it comes to politics. I'm not saying Russia, like, including the people in that, because I do know some Russian people. They are really nice people. You know, Russia has got its own way of life and its own culture and all that kind of stuff. Fabulous. Keep it. But when it comes to, like, politically speaking, Russia can be a little bit hot-headed, as we are seeing at the moment, and that needs to be addressed. And if it takes war for that to happen, then, you know, what is happening at the moment in Crimea and the Ukraine, it can't continue. It really can't. So yeah, there we go. Another thing, it isn't on my list at the moment, news-wise, but that is going to be, that's quite an interesting one. Is that breaking news? Oh, fuck, didn't mean to, bollocks. I think, no, it was before that. Sorry, just bear with me, I'm just on the website at the moment. Definitely. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. No. Sorry, no. No. What's that proposal? What? No. I don't think it's on there now. Bollocks. Sorry, there was just a thing about the unemployed, and obviously that is quite an interesting one for me. Let me have a look. Right, yeah, sorry, I'm just reading. I did read about this afternoon, but I never knew too much about this story as it kind of happened. A bomb thought to have been thrown at a police patrol in West Belfast on Friday night was in fact detonated by a command wire, the PSNI have said, which, for those of you that don't know, PSNI is Police Service Northern Ireland, and for some reason the PSNI, like, that police service just seems to get the shit beaten out of them probably at least 4 times a year. There is riots and PSNI have to sort it out. I do actually really feel a bit sorry for them, but Northern Ireland is, it's a separate video on this channel, and that is one long fucking video. Yeah, this kind of relates to this thing that's been happening recently, which is that the IRA is apparently back. Well, there went the Sinn Féin party. Listen, the IRA, if the main message of it is still as it was supposed to be years ago, in that they basically want it to be Ireland, not Northern Ireland, like they want Ireland out of the United Kingdom. Listen, we went through the 90s where everything was being blown up. The governments didn't pay attention. The people that were involved in the IRA got fucked over. And the people that remained in the IRA, they formed the Sinn Féin. Is it Sinn Féin or Sinn Féin? I can never pronounce it because I'm not Irish. But they formed the we'll just call him Sinn Féin, political party, and they are now kind of bringing about the change that they want to through politics. They're actually kind of terrorising politics, if you please. But as for throwing bombs and all this kind of shit, it's got to stop. It doesn't do any good. It really doesn't do any good. It doesn't do anything, really, apart from cause an explosion. But if nothing is going to come of that, like, at all, what's the point? So, yeah, this whole thing on the IRA's back, fucking just give it up already. We are bored. Yawn. Now, there was another news story that was it. I fucking remembered it now. Right, so there's a Heineken. We all know Heineken, right? The beer producer company, everything. Heineken. They have gotten involved in this political thing to do with the St. Patrick's Day parade in New York, and they've basically pulled out of it. Thank you. If you are wondering kind of a bit of the background about this whole thing in New York, it's the St. Patrick's Day parade, which, by the way, can I just mention St. Patrick's Day is kind of supposed to be Irish. So there is big companies that sponsor this St. Patrick's Day parade in New York, and this year the organisers of the parade have turned around to, was it gay veterans? Something to do with the gay community, but they've basically banned these people from taking part, and the only justification that we can give is that it is sexuality orientated reason behind it. Did I word that right? Fuck, I give up with the English language. Next video will be in Punjab. I really don't know what's up with me. Anyway, so these people got told you can't take part because you're gay, and since then there has not only been kind of a bit of a kick-off online about it. I mean, there hasn't been loads of it online, I'm not going to lie, but kind of companies are now starting to listen to it and get involved in it. Heineken is just one of a few that have eventually now turned around and said, you know what, you're discriminating against people and we're not standing for that. We are pulling our brand from that. Now, Heineken, through doing that, hasn't lost any customers. In fact, it's probably gained a few customers. It's shown support for a minority group, although how minority I'm not too sure. And you know what? It's got a good voice, and it's quite a good beer as well. So, why the likes of McDonald's and Procter & Gamble couldn't do that with the Russian Olympics, I don't know, but maybe they just should have. Anyway, so Heineken has done this, and they've spoken out in support of the gay community, and they've said, do you know what, we're not having anything to do with this year. If next year you decide they can come in, we're back on board, but until then, no, see you later. So I wholeheartedly support Heineken, and I will drink to that quickly because I'm doing a video. Don't know why quickly, because these videos are never quick. But has Heineken's pulling out had any impact? Up to now, no. But it kind of is going in the right direction. I mean, at the end of the day, it's showing support and solidarity. And if more people and companies and that kind of thing, if they do that, the voices get heard. And I mean, hopefully this whole thing can be resolved, and the people that wanted to take part in it can take part in it, and obviously not be judged for having done so. But I think not only should the people be allowed in it, but I also think that the organisers of this parade should be kind of dealt with as such. Sorry, I'm rolling a cigarette as I'm doing this. How rude. But I mean, there is this kind of culture at the moment where something like this can happen, and a quick apology and that's it. It's like, oh, everything's forgotten about, and it's like, well, hang on, no, it's not forgotten about. Who made that decision in the first place, and why have they still got a job? You know what I mean? I guess the main thing of it all isn't St. Patrick's Day to do with the snakes on Ireland, and that St. Patrick got rid of the snakes? Isn't that the story of St. Patrick's Day? I don't know. I really don't know Irish history, mainly because I'm not Irish or a historian. But I do know, and this is something I can say as an actual fucking fact for once, St. Patrick's Day is not exclusive to people of the sexuality, their sexual orientation, their sex, their colour, their fucking background. It is not exclusive to that. So, I mean, yeah, only in America, right? But why it's being made into this thing about sexuality is past me, because it's like, hang on, that's not what St. Patrick's Day is about. You know, I've never known St. Patrick's Day to exclude people. Really don't get it. Really don't get it. So, yeah, New York, fucking sort yourselves out. Because New York's watching this video, totally. Is there anything else really good in the news? I don't actually think that there is anything kind of good in the news at the moment, in which case that's the end of the video. Can I find something else interesting? Plane diverted, Russia, Island Crown, Six Nations winners. Woohoo! Yeah, I guess that is it for this video, which at kind of like, what, 37 minutes long? This is quite a long video. Thanks for noticing about the haircut as well. I heard you. He's talking about a haircut. And yes, I have. The lawnmower won. But anyway, that's not the point here. Right, so that is it for me. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will hopefully speak to you again soon, but not too long after I've stood on glass. Next time, hopefully. So, that's it.